Hi, this is Abraham Walker with Ask A Walker, your Northern Virginia real estate agent, and this is another episode of my coach, Gary Keller. What if Gary Keller was my real estate coach? Hold on, this is zoomed out too much. All right, that's better. Okay, so before we get into our different segments that we're going to cover, I just want to kind of go over a talking point or an idea that I've been having, or a conversation I've been having with a few people that have either listened to some of the previous videos or asked me about this whole process, right? This is this video series is, the goal is pretty big. As far as the size of the database is concerned, to have 2,400 people inside of a database, or to move 2,400 people into a database, that's a pretty big goal in one calendar year. So some people have said that goal is maybe too big, or most people are saying that the goal is too big. And while I don't necessarily disagree and I don't agree, I think that you have to challenge yourself to do things that are outside of your comfort zone, that also challenge your belief system, that challenge what you believe is possible. And to be quite frankly with you, 2,400 people in one database, or moving 2,400 people inside of a database, while that is the ultimate goal, you should know that I believe that 50% of the people that we move into the database are going to also move out of the database. So what I mean by that is, while we're making contacts with people and moving 50 people and 50 individuals into the database every week, a certain percentage, and I believe it's going to be 50%, that's just my estimate at this time, I believe 50% of those individuals are going to not agree to be marketed to in the aggressive manner that we're going to be marketing to people using the 8x8 in the 33 touch program. Because of that 50%, that means that really at the end of this challenge or this series, I should have 1,200 people that are receiving my marketing pieces on a regular basis, and those 1,200 people, based on the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, should produce, let's say it produces, because the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book says that it's really 1 out of every 6 individuals is going to produce a piece of business, and then there's another 1 out of 6 people that are going to produce a referral for you. So it's a 12-to-2 ratio. And let's increase that percentage to 10%. Let's say that 10% of your database, if you market it to them properly, would produce a piece of business or a referral. Well, out of 1,200 people in the database, that would produce 120 opportunities, right? So not necessarily pieces of business, maybe a piece of business or maybe a referral, but that's still 120 opportunities. And at 120 opportunities, that really changes the way my real estate business looks. That changes my family's life. That changes the individuals who depend on me lives for the good. So that's what this challenge is about. That's why we're documenting this challenge. And I'm okay with the idea that I may fail, right? I think what people are attempting to do as they watch this process is they are concerned about me, and because of their concern, they would like me not to fail, right? And so essentially they're trying to pad me from the reality of going after something that is a bigger goal, and so it's not a negative thing. It's just that you have to realize that if you're going after something, that you may fail, right? And the 3 things that I've thought about, and we're going to get into the numbers. We're going to get into this stuff, right? The 3 things that I thought about when I keep on having these conversations, or these conversations, I see them online, I have them in person. Three things. When you think about like a journey, or you think about like some type of obstacle, or you think about some type of challenge that you're going after, one, you want to get the most out of the experience, right? So if you don't have the challenge, if you don't push yourself, you'll never have the experience. You'll never know how much you could do. You'll never know what you're really capable of. You'll never really understand what your true potential is, right? And so this is what this program is about, right? Your true potential. Number two is, who will you become on the journey? I think that that's a very important thing to consider, right? Because previously, you weren't performing at this level. I wasn't performing at this level previously, right? And so now I'm essentially becoming someone else. I'm becoming another individual, and that individual is not having any challenges in my family life and my friendships. So I could have been this person all along, right? So it's something to consider as you go on these journeys. And number three, the third thing is, so you're on this journey and it's stressful, right? You're doing something new, and it's taxing on you. Figure out a way to enjoy yourself throughout this process. For me, one of the things that I enjoy is I enjoy making these videos. I also enjoy the feedback, or responding to people that are interested in this type of content, or in this type of information, right? So last week I spoke with somebody who is watching my videos, and they're thinking about doing something similar, and that's exciting to me. And so that's one way that I get to enjoy this process of putting stress on myself and on my business. Now, what you're probably thinking is, Abraham, what stress are you putting on yourself and on your business? Well, one of the things that you may not have considered, if you're following on this program, is that we're putting 50 people into a database every week, and we're following the 8x8 and the 33 touch program. Well, if you agree to move 50 people into an 8x8 and a 33 touch program, then your marketing cost drastically increases just with that commitment, right? So every 50 individuals is a dollar amount, right? So every week, my expenses, or my investment into marketing is increasing because of my belief in this system or idea, right? And so that can be stressful. Excellent. So that's all I want to say. So you may fail. That's okay. That's just a part of the process. Everyone isn't supposed to succeed, right? Who will you become on your journey? How can you still get the most out of this experience, and enjoy yourself? You got to enjoy yourself. So let's go into the numbers. Let's go into the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 6 areas that we're focusing on for this weekly accountability session. So the 6 sessions, or the 6 areas, are activities and results, wins for the week. I'm sorry, let's count those out so then you know where I'm at. Okay, so the first thing we're going to go over is activities and results. The second thing we're going to go over is wins for the week. The third thing we're going to go over is areas to improve. Number 4 is as a CEO of you, how would you rate yourself? Number 5 is next week's plan. Number 6 is weekly takeaways. And then we'll end with what would Gary Keller say. So the end part is me assuming that Gary Keller is looking and reviewing all this information over, and what would he say, right? So this is my hypothetical question, and this is kind of what this journey is all about. Like, what if Gary Keller was my coach? What would he say? Okay, so let's go into the activities. So we're going to go over goals, actuals, and we'll talk about the cumulatives, right? So the categories we're covering. Oh, I'll just say the numbers and then say the category, because I think that'll be easier. Okay, so for contacts made, these are new contacts. 81 contacts made. The goal was 121. For the month, we're at 240. And the month goal is 400. So I should add that to the system too. Okay, so I'll add what is the month goal to this sheet. Just make a note here. All right. Month goal. Okay, excellent. I think that'll be a good number to have. Okay. Oh, you know what? Before we get into the numbers, I was able to move all my this little system into one sheet, right? So we have the activities and results, and then we have the fill in the blank section, which is really just the wins for the week, areas to improve, a CEO view, next week's plan, weekly takeaways, and what would Gary Keller say. So this is just a nice little handout I made for myself. It's much easier than what I was previously doing, which was writing everything down over and over again, which is really silly when you think about it and when you say it out loud. And also it gives you more space to make notes. Yeah, so this is available on my website, www.askawalker.com/mycoachgk. You can find this in the frequently asked questions section at the bottom of the page. Okay, all right, enough of that. Let's get back into the numbers. Okay, so we're at so for contacts, 240 for the month. The goal is 400. For added to database, we added 54 people to the database. The goal is 55. For the month, we're at 144. The goal is 200. So we need another, 56 people. For thank you cards sent, we sent out 56. The goal was 55. We're at 146 for the month, and the goal is 200 in that arena too. For homes preview, we previewed 13 homes. The goal was 10 homes. And we're at 33 for the month. 40 is the goal for the month. We had no appointments, either seller appointments or buyer appointments. We had no seller listings taken or buyer listings taken. The goal was 1 in all those categories. We're at 2 seller listing appointments for the month. And hold on. And the goal for this month is 8 listing appointments total. So split that up 50-50. So 4 in each categories and 6 listings taken. We're just really using a straight line method of averaging for the goals. And we also know that, at least on my end, I believe that our numbers are going to pick up as we really get into maybe like the 3rd or 4th month of this process. That's also the time when our marketing pieces have more or less penetrated the audience that we are marketing to. So while those results numbers, so that last section is the results section, those numbers are lower. Just keep in mind that that's what our assumption is, right? Okay, so also we might as well cover this too. So the contacts, the who I'm contacting is cold contacts, which is really just a straight cold call through geographic. I've essentially quarantined or sectioned off a section of my area of Northern Virginia, and I'm calling through that area. So we are using zip codes to track where we are. So just call through an entire zip code. My current zip code, I started another zip code on Thursday of last week. This is a Monday video, and I'll be finished with that zip code on Tuesday, which is really quicker than I originally anticipated making it through zip codes. So that just means that we'll add more zip codes to our sessions, because we'll make the goal is to do a quarter worth of cold calls into one geographic area. So to figure out like how many zip codes could I call in one quarter, and then cycle through that list after the quarter ends, right? And so this all started August 1st. So we're going to make, we have essentially a month and 5 weeks left of calling straight cold calls, and then we're going to cycle through those numbers again. All right, let's see. Okay, we're at 15-minute mark. Okay, so book reading. So we're currently reading Shift book right now. We had the forward to read and page 33. So we completed that. Also, if you are thinking about buying the Shift book, you should get the most recent one. I normally recommend that people buy the used versions of books, but for Shift, you want to get the newest version because there's a forward in here by Gary Keller that's really good, and I think it's worth the extra money you would probably have to spend to get the new book. All right, and the other goal, as far as learning is concerned, so we have our learning goals on here as well. Is to the KWU course Lead Generation 3612-3, which is this right here, session 1. I was supposed to get through session 1 last week. I did not get through session 1 last week, so this will be on my to-do list for this week. If you haven't, and the only reason I know this is because I've already gone through this earlier this year and completed the activities, so I'll complete them again because of this program. And if you're with KW and you haven't downloaded the Lead Generation 3612-3 program, I mean, this stuff is really good. This is some really good training right here. Not to say that Ignite isn't really good training, just that the Lead Generation 3612-3, especially the first 4 or 5 sessions, are really filled with some knowledgeable, actionable material that will definitely help you guide your way through incorporating or developing your real estate business. All right, so let's go through our wins for the week. Our first win for the week was we completed our first batch of thank you cards. So I guess maybe like 5 or 6 weeks ago, I bought maybe 200 or so thank you cards, and I'm through that batch of thank you cards. I thought that this was a crazy idea when I first started it. Right? I didn't. It's one of those things where this idea that we're going through right now, that you're watching essentially, it was like a vision of mine to do something like this, and I've been putting it off for a while, and I just finally said, you know what, let's just do it August 1st. And I really didn't think about like all of the resources it would take to actually execute this idea. Well, get into this thing, right? I committed to it on August 1st, and a few, 2 weeks in, I realized like, man, I'm gonna need a lot more thank you cards. So go to Walmart, get some more thank you cards. I bought 4 sets of thank you cards there. That was maybe like $50 or so. And I just made it through those, and I just ordered some more thank you cards. Oh, let me show you those thank you cards. Hold on. Okay, so I'm back. All right, so I wanted to show you the thank you cards that I ordered. I got these from Got Print. They look really nice, right? I designed these myself in Canva. So I have all my pertinent information on there, and I don't know if you can see right here at the bottom here, that's a cool little line right there. It says, this card is not intended to solicit any currently listed properties. Please pardon our proactive marketing. Stole that from some real estate agent, don't know who. But anyway, I saw it on some of their marketing pieces. I thought, gotta use that in the future. And then here is the envelope that we use. Got the little company logo right there. Have the address, the return address right there. We'll just handwrite their address and name right there, and there you have it. And so this is the interior of the card. Sorry about that. So they have the AskAWalker.com right there with our burgundy, which is our company colors. And the reason why I put this little strip up here is to make it easier for me to determine where's the top of the card, right? So if you're writing a lot of thank you cards, sometimes you write them upside down, and I hate that when that happens. So that's it. So we have our new thank you cards, right? So we got 1,000 of these. I guess it was like 300 or so bucks. Yeah, so I think total they were maybe like 35 cents per 35 cents per card. Yeah, I think it's 35 cents for the card and the envelope together. So with the stamp, it's 80 cents, around 80 cents or so, right? So now we have our resources that we need to execute the thank you card part of the process. Another thing that's coming in the mail right now, excuse me. Another thing that's coming in the mail right now is we just completed another order for some magnets. That's going to be like one of our items of value for the 8x8 program. We were originally using school magnets, but then we realized that a lot of the phone calls that I'm making are really made to more, it's an elderly clientele, and some of those individuals already have kids that are out of school, so it doesn't really make sense to send them school calendars, and we want to provide them some type of item of value that will actually they'll use for some period of time. So I'm saying all that to say, at the beginning of this process, this is just a cool idea, right? You know, the Ignite program, which is where we get our metrics from. The metrics in the Ignite program are 50 new contacts a week, 50 people added to your database every week, 50 thank you cards sent every week, and preview 10 homes per week. I thought, you know what? This is more or less like one of our beginner courses. It's going to be easy to do, right? And I'm just learning slowly but surely that it's easy to say, it's very challenging to execute, right? So now that was the win for this week, is that we went through all of those thank you cards, and now we have new thank you cards here. And the 1,000 should last us, what, 58 times? So was it 10 or 20 weeks? Yeah, so that's great. It's not gonna last that long because we also have our thinking of you cards that we'll be using inside of our 33 Touch program. Okay, another win for this week was we completed the system for existing database. So we have 1,200 people that are 11 to 1,200 people that are already in our database, and wanted to move those individuals into our 8x8 program. Now, I'm still a little hesitant about doing this because we're already doing 50 or so individuals that are new contacts that are added to our database. And if you read the Ignite material, it talks about how you will add 200 people. Your goal is to add 200 people to your database and everyone in your existing database, and that's pretty expensive, right? So I decided to do 100 at a time, and I'm even thinking about like dialing that down to 50 at a time, and really grading those individuals based on a lot of those individuals. We don't have their home addresses, so we're not going to be able to really touch them or market to them as much as we would like. And the goal will be to make contact with those individuals via phone call or email to see if they are still, if they are okay with us, not even okay with us reaching out to them, if we can reach them. So that's what I'm thinking about right now. Is like how many do I want to move into the system? As I told you in the beginning of this video, the more people you move into the system, the more money it costs, and we don't necessarily know when our return on investment is going to start to kick in. So we just want to be cognizant or aware of the of creeping expenses. All right, so the third thing was made our investment in 2 months of postage, which for us right now is since we're at the beginning of the slow process, is right around $700 in just postage alone. So I'm really glad that we made that commitment to postage. The United States Postal Service is really happy to see us when we go into the post office. Number 4, another win for the week was I I received my first person that contacted me to opt out of my marketing plan. This is great news. Really excited about this. You don't know how excited I am about receiving that phone call, because we need people to state that they are not interested in our material, because that gives us resources to focus on finding and marketing to people who are interested in our materials. That's the goal. That's the focus. We're looking for, remember those circles from the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, right? So you have the outer circle, which is the general public. Then you have the next inner circle, or the inner tier, which is the individuals that you're targeting. And then your goal is to move them closer and closer and closer to you as an individual, that they feel that you're their real estate agent for life. Like they'll make the real estate decisions with you. And it's important for us to know people who have decided that they don't want to use our services. I want to know that information so that I can stop thinking about them, which means I'm marketing to them, right? Okay, so areas to improve. Knocking out more tasks by the middle of the week. I'm really interested and keen on shifting my focus from completing the task in the 7 days that I have, versus thinking about having 7 days. I want to start thinking about having just 3.5 days of work to complete most of my tasks. I feel that most of the week is wasted on less issues that are not necessarily priorities. And as you can tell from my listing appointments for both sellers and buyers, I have some free time. So really want to focus on shifting my idea of when I should execute my task or have them completed, to how much can I do by the middle of the week. So then that gives me more time to focus on other activities inside the company. Another area to improve on is continue stressing our system with the 8x8 program. I don't even know why I wrote that. Scratch that. The only area to improve was the knocking out more tasks by the middle of the week. Okay, as the CEO of you, how would you rate your performance for the past week using a scale of 1 to 5? 1 meaning that improvement is needed, 5 is excellent, no improvement is needed. I rate myself as a 1 this week. This is the lowest rating I've had since we've started this program. And there's one reason that comes up is that I have 4 areas for activities that I'm tracking myself on, right? So contacts, people added to the database, thank you notes sent, and homes previewed. And I did not perform in 2 of the 4 categories. So that's 50% of the categories that the metrics that I'm following are tracking myself on, and that's just unacceptable. It's really unacceptable, because even though you may think that, Abraham, there's more time in the month, you can catch up, or you can do more activities this week, which I am going to do more activities this week, because I want to make sure that I hit the monthly numbers. Because of my lagging activities at this time in the month, it's causing stress on the end of the month, right? So this stress is really caused by myself. And why would I want to stress myself out? It doesn't make sense. So that's why I rate myself as a 1 as the CEO of you. Okay, so for next week's plan, my plan for next week is by Thursday night. Because my contacts, so the number of contacts I need to hit this week to hit my monthly goal is 160 contacts, which is about 53 contacts a day. So by Thursday night, my goal is to have 106 contacts made for the week, right? So Thursday night, 106 contacts made. Number 2, finalize 8x8 for existing database addition. So people that are already in our database, deciding on whether or not we're going to use the same 8x8 system, or if we're going to make any modifications on that system. I'm still hesitant about the number of people that are in that existing database, moving them into the 8x8 system. Um, just because of the cost, right? So number 3 is start. It says start system for allied resources. Really, that's start thinking about what my allied systems, allied resources system is going to be like. How are we going to follow up with them? What items of value we're going to provide them. Allied resources in this case is really like home service providers, right? Vendors that provide those key services, that individuals that purchase the homes that we sell them, or the ones that are interested in listing the properties that we're going to sell in the future. Really making sure that we're really focusing our energy on developing a good relationship, good working relationship with those individuals that we're going to refer out on a regular basis. Okay, so F is weekly takeaways, right? One of the weekly takeaways was keeping our email as a touch point for our database. Last week we were really considering canceling our email service, and I just, after really looking at the metrics of over the last 4 or 5 months as far as like engagement with the email system, I think that it provides a good touch point for the individuals that are in our database. I think that there's ways that we can maximize it that we're not doing at this time, and we'll continue to kind of develop that email system. And number 2 is allied resources and home service providers can provide referral opportunities, right? So, and you heard me talk about next week's plan, start the system for allied resources. The third and final aha is that, so this is the Shift book, right? This is what I'm reading right now. This is what I read the past 6 weeks, right? So these 2 books are really meant to be paired, right? So the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book is really the model. The Shift book is really how you execute the model, right? So we have the model. Think of this as the recipe, right? The idea, the concept, why Keller Williams is the way it is, and then this is how do you execute the Keller Williams system. They're great paired together, right? That was my first takeaway when I was reading the Shift book that I just started this week. Okay, so what would Gary Keller say now that he's heard all this information? I think Gary Keller would tell Abraham, just me, you have 50 hours per week to work, and you're not using them wisely. Work smarter, not harder, right? So, excuse me. So we have 50 hours that we're dedicating to our real estate, developing our real estate business. And there's just so much more we can get out of this opportunity just by maintaining our focus, having concrete plans, and being serious about our commitment to executing our goal. So that's what I think Gary Keller would say. If you've made it all the way to the end, I just want to say thank you for watching. I really appreciate the positive feedback that I've been receiving about the program. And if you have any questions, I'm always here to answer any questions that you may have about this process. If you're wondering why I'm not looking here at the camera and I'm looking up here, is because I'm shooting this vlog or this video on the Sony Mark IV. So that's it. So, yeah. My name is Abraham Walker with Ask A Walker, your Northern Virginia real estate agent. I do appreciate your real estate referrals, right? So for my Keller Williams agents, find me on the referral program, the referral network. For agents outside of Keller Williams, you can shoot me an email to info@askawalker.com. That's info@askawalker.com. Or you can give me a phone call, 703-539-2053. And I will see you on the next video. Peace.